For daily Ask Reddit. r/Ask Reddit. What's a red flag when looking for a job? If you like the video, drop a like and subscribe so you never miss a video. If you ask them what the pay is, and they start off with what you could be making after so much time and they start rambling about the raise process, run the other way. During my last interview for an entry-level semi-skilled press operator position, the hour guy says my pay will be like this. If you hit your rate every day, factor in your attendance bonus, then if you go over rate we'll pay you piece rate. They don't, I checked. And if the packing line gets your orders out on time and your quality is high enough, and we don't get docked with any fees, a process over which I'll have no control. After I wrap my pallet, you'll be making $15.20/HR or more if you sign up for Saturdays. But that's not what I asked. I asked what my base pay was going to be, to which he replied, $10.61/hour. No thank you. I've never heard such a complete pile of run around bullshit. Making jokes about overtime and crunch time. Guaranteed it's going to be a nights and weekends are optional, but not actually optional, place. I went to an interview where the guy said we don't end the day until everyone is done, and sometimes that takes another hour on a busy day. Then my genius brain said, yeah, I don't want to work constant overtime. What was I thinking, expecting to go home when my contract says I go home? In reality, maybe an hour overtime can easily turn into 2 hours overtime every day. Having to pretend this is normal is toxic AF. When I was a GM for Chipotle, I would constantly work 12+ hour days, salary. And one busy weekend I worked 15 hours on Friday and 15 on Saturday. And on Sunday I decided to go to the gas station and eat my donuts in my car and just listen to the radio for like 10 extra minutes to just kind of unwind. You better believe the area manager was there the next day with a write-up in hand because I was 10 minutes late on Sunday. But when I asked what about the other 10 extra hours I put into my store the previous days, that's just part of the job description. Couple of things. Open interviews. Admittedly, I've fallen for this a few times, but I was young and stupid. It's clear they have a high turnover, so they are trying to secure as many people as they can. Most of the time these open interview jobs don't have salaries, just commission, refusal or reluctancy to share details over the phone. This is what usually ends up in you turning up to an open interview. If they withhold information about the role, what you'll be doing, etc., that's a huge red flag. They just want to get you in the door for an interview, to pressure you into joining. When they shite talk previous employees, they're going to do it to you. Same goes for them insulting current employees behind their back. I saw that during my orientation. 2 supervisors were loudly talking about how useless an employee was after they got off the phone with him. Even if it's true, the fact that they don't care who hears them is a sign of a toxic work environment. Hiring lots of people on the same position, everyone who calls gets a job, often means the job is either or they're setting you all up to compete for the actual job. I had this once. Turned out it was commission only, door-to-door vacuum sales. I did that for a month. My breaking point was when I was told I couldn't carry any water with me in what is essentially desert climate in middle of summer. Was told to request a glass of water from random strangers. Same if I needed to use the bathroom. I wound up so parched I was risking real dehydration, and the other salespeople had the nerve to drink all my water. Oh, and I sold a grand total of 3 vacuums. I actually has 5 sales, but I quit on a Friday, and by Monday they claimed my last 2 sales were cancelled, and I now owed them something like $150 for accessories. Convinced them to zero out my entire account and just close it. This was a red flag I had during an interview process once. I was doing a phone interview for an IT position, and the person I was interviewing with basically changed the details of the job during the interview. Instead of the first shift hours the position promised, he immediately went into saying it would be 6+ months before the opportunity for first shift would even be a possibility. Also, he was begin to asking how dedicated I was to jobs. The idea of weekend shifts, again, not in the original description, kept coming up, and how everyone had to be a team player and help out on weekends when needed. The kicker was when he started talking about how many hours he worked. He was bragging that he was up at 6 AM every day working, then he'd go into the office for the day, come home to see his family for dinner, and get right back to work until 10 to 11 PM every night. I had never been turned off from a job faster in my life. He asked me to think things over, and he'd send me some paperwork via email. Needless to say, I called him the next morning and declined the job. It was the worst interview process I'd ever been in. If the job description has about 20 items, of which one is sales, your job is going to be sales. Similarly, other duties as needed can translate to sales. Happened to me in a job that I was doing digital marketing for. They wanted me to do sales related tasks as well. I said that's not my job. They pointed out that line in my job description and said I need to improve my attitude and do it or give them notice of my departure. I told them thanks, I'll be gone in 30 days and mentioned if they want sales to be done then hire someone for the role. That is not what I signed up for nor want to do. They were surprised, and within a month after I left they hired a director of sales. They didn't have one previously. Super high turnover rate there too.